People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
I gotta keep going. All right, everybody, welcome again to another episode of The Pursuit. Today, I'm especially excited. I got to talk to this beautiful soul yesterday, and I felt the energy come through the phone. And, I'm getting chills now thinking about it because, as everybody knows, I'm very spiritual. She's very spiritual, as I got to know very quickly. And I couldn't be more excited because we're gonna have a lot of really good in-depth discussion, but we're gonna have some fun doing it. So this guest that will be introduced here shortly has a very long resume, but not because it's resume building, it's because what she was called to do and it's what her vocation is. And you'll hear her first. But to give you some background, she is the founder of the Ungun Institute. And I do have to read this. Her list of accomplishments is quite long. It's a movement dedicated to disarming trauma, healing families and entire communities. She's a co-creator of the Black SOnday, a global observance bringing together 100 plus networks and 50,000 participants in a 12-hour international event focused on rebuilding and uplifting the Black community. She was named one of the top most influential businesswomen in St. Louis by the great St. Louis Business Journal. She's the founder and artistic director of Show Me Arts Academy, which impacts over 3,000 youth through the arts as a tool for healing and transformation. She's an international speaker, performer, and activist, taking stages locally, nationally, and globally with a strong track record of philanthropy and community leadership. She's a multidisciplinary artist, an anointed singer, actress, writer, producer, director. You see what I'm talking about? Using the arts as a vehicle for emotional expression and healing. And lastly, she serves on multiple boards and an arts and healing council, helping shape conversations and solutions at both the community and systemic levels. Her life's work is centered around one mission: healing. Everybody, please welcome Dr. Marty Casey to the podcast.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Pat. I appreciate you so much and grateful to be here. Now I'm going to jump right in and say this because this is so important. I always tell people that middle initial K, Marty K Casey. Now let me tell you why. There is a rock star out there that's so cute. He's so handsome. He reminds me of you, Dr. Pat.
Get out of here.
Name is Marty Casey. And if you just put Marty Casey, you may find him. You won't be disappointed. But if you're looking for me, you got to put that K in there. So Marty K Casey is real important. But hey, I can't wait to see him in concert. He's pretty cute.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I apologize, but yes,
It's
yeah,
okay.
because now with AI and all of the different people searching for you, that they're like, oh, this is a singer. I'm so excited to have you. You're vibrant, your energy comes through
Thank
any medium. We were talking yesterday, or he's coming through already today. So as we just jumping right into it, Dr. Marty K. Casey, what are you in pursuit of right now?
Wow. You know what? In ordinary situations, that may sound like a pretty easy question to answer, but that really isn't in today's time. When we ask someone what are they in pursuit of, we first have to think about. I look at life almost like playing a game of chess. Now I can answer right now what I'm looking at on the board, but my answer has to also reflect what those next three moves going to be after that. So when I think about what am I in pursuit of, I have to say peace on earth. It has to be that, but that's not where we are right now. And we hear that often. We hear, may peace prevail on earth, which is truly one of my global partners, and that's a prayer that their grandfather actually introduced from Japan. However, I have to say we're not there yet. What does peace really mean? And when we say on earth, what does that mean? Me as a whole, everybody on earth, I am your neighbor and you're my neighbor. And when I think about peace truly means safety, I should be able to have that mental, emotional, financial, spiritual safety that you also are desiring to have for your family. And to me, that's peace on earth. And that's what I'm in pursuit of.
Do you see what I'm talking about, everybody? This isn't your normal guest here. So I'm just going to sit back and let her teach us all today. So when you say peace on earth, what does that elicit for you as people come to you for advice, Dr. Marty?
Well, it has to start with yourself, right? As you spoke about my company, Ungun Institute LLC, we help individuals, families, and communities disarm from trauma. So when you think about that, we do this thing called trauma tracing. We first have to find out where are the triggers inside of you. That's why that it's called Ungun, because we're about putting that safety lock on yourself, understanding how to be in self control, self love, self just this discernment of understanding why you make the decisions that you make, and when you make those decisions how that yield to certain consequences. So when we're talking about pieces within, that's where it starts. If I'm trying to trace that back, the peace that you're looking for is within. But how do we take that peace that's within and now connect it to those things that's on the outer? When you don't feel like you are in a peaceful setting or in peace in a relationship, it's you have to go back to self. What is it that's inside of me today that's not connecting? Where does that energy lie? How can I lift myself higher or go above what is happening in this room and in this situation or with this conversation? That's the peace that, and when you teach that, you will understand that peace is not a place that you arrive to, but peace is actually a feeling that you feel from the inside that you become and attach to.
I mean, I'm blown away because as I was praying this morning, when we were having guests like yourself on, it's just like, God, please give me the bandwidth to elicit whatever you need me to do today. And so I'm always taking notes. I'm not looking over to the side. I like to take notes on all these great facts. So that piece within really sticks with me personally because I had to find that. And I have to kind of go through my daily operating system of being grounded of just how grateful and humble and how great that God's plan is for us. What do you do when you kind of start out your day, or how do you find that peace within for yourself throughout your own day?
I'm asked that often, like, Marty, walk us through your day. What do you do when you
Yes,
first wake
yes,
up?
yes.
And I always send them the opposite way. I think what you need to ask me is, what do I do before I go to sleep?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where you are really setting the stage for yourself on how you will wake up the next day. Because again, we're talking about all of the things that's within you. So if you're going to bed with all of this stuff on your mind, all of this junk inside of you, you have not released the day, and you're now taking that to bed and you relaxing and lying still in it. Can you imagine what that would be like when you wake up? It's almost like you needed to take the trash out and you didn't. You said, "Oh, I'll take it out in the morning." Well, by the time you wake up in the morning, take it
Well,
out, it's now lingering all throughout your house. So you really need to practice and do that inner work before you go to sleep, so that the mind can be rested in a peaceful place. That peaceful state of mind is what you are after. So then when you wake up, it's fresh, it's new. See, joy comes what? In the morning, and not just in the morning of the dawn of the day, but it is also in the morning of what it is that we're sad about and we had to let go. So when we release that, then that morning we mourn that death of yesterday, and now joy comes in the morning. It's the newness of the day.
that's it's what you just said, and is actually a biohack as well. And as I told you, we're pursuing the doctorate between the uh, the financial and fitness standards, but there's a chapter that we have on the neuroscience, and that's called your reticular activating system. So not only is it spiritual, it's actually biological.
It's biological. It's scientific.
So we do a brain dump, but I didn't realize that that's where it starts. So that's what you do. So do you do some type of brain dump or prayer or journaling beforehand so you get it out?
I
And then
do
really
it
that
all.
allows our subconscious to help solve the problem while we're sleeping.
Absolutely. And you will start to see it show up even in your dreams, right?
Mhm.
I will not, I won't say always, but often I will dream about something and wake up and someone will call me and they will be talking about that very thing I just dreamt about. That's how connected my subconscious is with the future of who I am to be, because that's what I do to rewire myself.
Say that again. Say that again. I'm telling you, I love Mel Robbins, and I
Well,
know she goes,
well, let me
say it
tell
louder for the back.
well,
Say
let me
that again.
Dr. Pat, let me tell you about myself. This is one of the things where I would say I'm like a bubble when I speak. All right. But you know how you blow bubbles and you got 3.6 seconds before they pop?
Yeah,
Well, that's what it is. When I speak and I say something, you got to catch that bubble when you get it. Because if
that's
you
why I'm
ask me
trying.
to repeat
I'm
it,
trying.
because I am not one. What did I share with you yesterday? My great grandmother, who was born in 1910, she told me, my great grandmother said, you never have to rehearse the truth. Only a lie is what you have to practice. So when I'm speaking truth, that's a bubble. That's going to pop. Don't ask me to repeat it cuz I'm speaking in the moment. You got to go back
I
and
no,
you got to go back and rewatch this to catch it.
no, I know. And this is these little nuggets are gonna just permeate. Like you just put it out there. That ripple effect will be the next 50, 60, 100 years.
Amen.
You're
Amen.
right, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
But
And
I am a real artist. I just say give me my credit where credit's due. That's all. Like I still have to credit my great grandmother. That's something she told me when I was a little girl, and I still speak it today, but I give her credit for it.
and that's right. And you're honoring her. I'm sure that she's speaking with you. And I think we all can probably understand, like maybe you wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom and all of a sudden it hits you like, boom, I just figured out that answer
Mhm.
I've been looking for because your subconscious is thinking about it.
It's
So
already working for you.
it's,
But it can only work for you when you clear the mind, you clear the space. So one of the things you asked me, what do I do? Do I journal? Do I meditate?
yes,
Do I
yes.
and I do all of that. It just depends upon what it is I may be dealing with in that moment. So
Mm.
this is what we teach through the workshops of Ungun Institute. And so I'm basically showing you and helping you to identify what tool you may need to use based off of what it is you're emotionally building, right? So I'm going to give you the example. Often, when I have something I may be I'm about to do, like maybe it's a speech that I have to deliver, and so I'm going to bed with all of that on my mind. I'm seeing the words that I will be speaking, and I am in my mind seeing myself at the podium, and I'm my eyes are closed right now because I want to just say it the way that I see it. So I see myself, I'm in my bed lying down, but I see myself at the podium with whatever outfit I said I was going to wear. I see the audience. I see somebody talking. I see all of those things. I can picture all of that. And then I begin to speak. And as I'm going over what it is that I'm going to say, I then now start to take that into my mind, my body, and my spirit through the subconscious. So then when it actually happens, I'm comfortable because I've already done it. So there's no fear in the room for me to stand at a podium and at the mic to speak because I've already done it. I've seen myself doing it. That's part of why we are not as successful as we could be, is because we haven't pictured and seen ourselves doing it. You got to see yourself before anybody else will.
and and I think that's it's we kind of laughed on the phone with each other yesterday. I like the one word succinctness of what the Japanese terms, and I on my office door it says yukushu, which is preparation. So it's like, am I intentionally prepared to talk to Dr. Marty today? It's
Mm,
like, well, you better get ready. You better, and like I like this. You better stay ready so you don't have
get ready. That's right.
now that brings me to a really good kind of segue. I what really resonated with me when we were talking was there's so many people, because I know this for myself. I was just trying to get food, clothing, shelter. As we both know, it's that Maslow hierarchy of needs. So it sounds great because you and me have both been there. But
Mhm.
now we're on that next level of vibration or whatever that may be, right?
Yep.
God, spiritualness, however one wants to call it. What do you say? What are you now doing? I think you're doing a lot of work to help people get out of that food, clothing, shelter so their brain can really expand.
Mhm. Um, I want to make sure that I'm answering this based off of what you're asking. Are you wanting me to describe what I do to help people with the food, clothing, shelter in this moment, or are you asking what would be the purpose of me doing what I do?
So yeah, I guess what my and I'm sorry, like my thought bubbles come out like yours, right? So just you're
It's okay.
so I remember, I mean, it was just yesterday, but when we were talking on the phone, it's I would love to hear your process of how you built that muscle of seeing yourself and being able to do it, but also that process that you have, that Dr. Marty has, of where did you find it? How did you start to implement it? And then I think that permeates to your life's work
Mhm.
of helping other people get to that level by copying your system.
Wow. Okay, so one of the things I want to give a little bit of a backstory about me, and I won't take up too much time in doing so. But this is how
This
I
is a
let.
bit, this is why you're on. We need your backstory.
Well, this is how I led in with just introducing myself to you
Sure.
on yesterday. If you can imagine an 8-year-old girl sitting down talking to her parents that are profusely crying to describe what just happened to their great grandmother. My great grandmother, when I was only 8 years old, and my mom and dad at that time, if you can imagine, they were going through a divorce. But my mother still stayed by my father's side in the midst of this because it was such a horrific event that took place. And when I was 8 years old, I'm 55 now. So do the math. So the bottom line is back then we wasn't really using the word trauma, but that's exactly what we were dealing with in that moment when my mother and father was trying to share with me and my brother that our great grandmother was just killed in her home. There was a gentleman that had actually he had broken out of the mental ward at a hospital, and he went on a killing spree. And one of the people that he actually killed was our great grandmother when he broke in her home on Good Friday. He stole a black and white television after he had brutally done some things to her and stole her black and white television so he could sell that to then purchase drugs. And the drug of his choice at that time was marijuana. So we look at where we are today in society where we have all of these different smoke shops and all of that, and it just goes to show you how life just keeps evolving. Where there may sound like a horrific crime in one aspect 30, 40, 50 years ago, now is something that we all looking at and go, "Oh, that's no big deal." But it was because a life
Yeah.
was lost due to that.
Yeah.
So when that happened to my great grandmother, my parents made the decision because of the trauma that they did not want us to go to the funeral. They felt like that would just be too much to hear and to take in because of the type of death that was surrounding that. And I believe because I was denied an opportunity to go and say proper goodbyes to my great grandmother and really hear and understand all of the things that happened, it almost like it planted a seed in me. I became more interested in the violence in
Mhm.
society, violence, community violence, cultural violence than probably the average person. And I just started paying attention out of nowhere, not because I wanted to, but I just noticed that I did. I paid attention to how people was treating people. And then I kept hearing this saying that says hurt people. And I grew up hearing that my entire life, but I never heard a solution. Okay, is there if we look at a coin, a quarter, is it just a head on the coin? No, you turn it over, there's also tails. So where's the other part of that coin? If hurt people, and then I turn it over, what's on the other side? There was nothing. So I created the saying, okay, hurt people, heal people. I need there to be another side to that coin to complete this. So I don't just get stuck on the problems. I'm fixated on the solutions. And that's how I began to do the work. So when you fast forward, now here we are culturally in a neighborhood where drugs has just totally being infiltrated in this neighborhood that I grew up in, that used to be a place where you could go outside and play all day until the street lights come on, and you could borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbors and not have to worry about them spiking the Kool-Aid with something. I mean, you know what I mean? These were
Yeah.
the good times called life. And I watched that neighborhood go from it being the best place to live, that you're bragging on it, to now being ashamed to pull up in front of your home because you see the drug addicts, you see the destruction, you see the divide, you see the violence, you see how unsafe it is and how it feels. And here my brother got caught up in that systemic breakdown. And my brother, he started selling drugs, and he went outside and he was dealing with an individual who also lived in the neighborhood who was on drugs, buying drugs, and there was a drug deal gone bad. And this man robbed my brother, and then he threatened my brother to say that I'll go around the corner and harm everyone in your home. Well, my brother, being in the streets, understood that that very well could be something that he would carry out. And so instead, my brother decided to react to those words, and he pulled the trigger, and that bullet killed the man. I am not here to say to anyone that because of what that man spoke that he deserved to lose his life. I would never say that. I am not here to defend my brother on the act that he did, but I'm here to show that one bullet, one gun, one trigger being pulled does not just affect the individuals on both sides of that gun, but it also affects both families. And both families living in that neighborhood, now that neighborhood affects that city, and the city inside the nation, and the nation inside the world. So when I say may peace prevail on earth, it has to start with you. It had to start with my brother. It had to start with that man, because trauma is transferable and so is healing. I just trauma traced and shown you how one act can affect so many people and all of the things. We have a gun problem in this world today. We have a people problem in this world today. It's not the world that needs changing, it's the people that needs to change who they are and how they show up with other people and all of the things that affect them. The gun is not really the issue, but when the person that has a problem gets a hold of a gun, has access to it so easily, and they're not in control of themselves, that's where the problem comes in. I'm saying all that to say this work became very personal for me. It's not because I saw it as being a lucrative business, or I saw this as, well, there's not a whole lot of women in it, I'll do this, or because I'm Black and I live in a neighborhood, I'll do this. No, I didn't raise my hand to say, let me do this. I was chosen to do it. As a matter of fact, I know I was born to do it.
It's so interesting to me growing up in Central Illinois of lots of gun owners and how, what I would say, how I want to say coveting that is. I know there's responsible gun owners, right? So this isn't about politics. This is about sitting across from someone, albeit virtually, and understanding and hearing their perspective and saying, I know how you got there, Dr. Marty. I can see it. But you just articulated what I think the nation is not doing right now. They're not sitting down to listen, because it's not about the gun. It's about what the gun has now done for the ripple effects, and what me personally, let's just use me as the example. And again, like, but we'll just call it what it is, a prototypical white male, 45-year-old white male from Central Illinois. So what is, because I know you're solely focused on solutions, but you're so grounded in what the real issue and problem is. What does that look like going forward, solution-wise?
Hmm. I think there's many different things. I think the solution is made up of many different things. I don't think one person, one organization, one culture, one city, one nation will hold the answer. I think collectively is we will have to add to this big pot of gumbo and serve it up. And so a few things that I think matters is that there should be some requirements that if you do own a gun, right? There has to be some requirements. It's just like if you decide to drive a car, we know that there are speed limits. And those speed limits are there because of all of the other things that's going around in that area. So if we've come into a school zone, the speed limit drastically drops down, even though you're still trying to hurry up and get to work, or you still trying to whatever. But basically, that speed limit is saying you're in a school zone and a little bitty kid could possibly run out here and run across the street, and you may hit them because you're going so fast and you don't see them. So we drop the speed limit down so you can be cautious of where you are in this moment. Well, when we talking about gun ownership, there should be limits as to who can own a gun. There should be limits in even what type of gun you can own. There should be even limits in if you own a gun that you have to make sure that it is however many feet away off the floor from a child in your home and locked up in a certain cabinet or with a lock on it or what have you. We have all these rules and regulations for so many things, but when it comes down to guns, we almost want to be real loose and fly by night until something happens. Then when something drastic happens, all of a sudden we can come up with what were the solutions, what can we do differently. We just waiting on the next school shooting to happen, massive school shooting to happen for us to all get in the uproar and go back to bickering on the television and in the Senate and the and Congress about what we should do. We know we should be doing something, whether something's happening right now or not. So let's get the work done. That's a solution within itself. Can we get something done? Like now. Like, let me show you my gun. I'm gonna show you my gun. That's my gun. These are gun parts. These are
Oh,
those are
that's
actual gun parts. This is made from a gun. And so I'm an artist. So here's my gun. So my thing is I grew up around guns. My great grandfather was a hunter, and back in the day, he would keep, his one of his guns would be a rifle. It would be behind the front door. So if ever somebody, I guess, came to the door and didn't, whatever, you know. We had access to it. My grandmother had a pistol. She had a 22 she would carry around in her purse or what have you. I never touched it. We grew up knowing how to respect that, and we knew that if you ever got a hold of this and you pull the trigger, there's that possibility, there's that consequence. You could take a life. You don't ever want to kill nobody, do you? Well, then don't you ever put your hands on this gun and pull that trigger. That's what we grew up with, the knowledge. So if we're going to have this much access to guns, then there should be a gun class in every school curriculum. We need to be teaching the safety, the honor, and the respect of firearms. That should be a class that is mandatory. With all of this gun shooting that's happening, and we're not teaching this, I'm not understanding. I mean, I can go on and on about how I feel about it and what the solutions are. And then we also need to, if you're going to end that class, take them to the morgue. Take them on a field trip. Take them to the morgue. Let them know what a body looks like when it's been shot 9 times in less than 60 seconds. Take them to the hospital and let them see a family crying in real time because they just got caught up in a drive-by shooting that had nothing to do with them. They was just in the right place at the wrong time. Show them the effects of pulling a trigger. Let them hear the sounds. And when you hear, so if we're telling children that, okay, when the tornado sounds, When you hear that and you hear the bell ring on the tornado, we need you all to take cover. This is what we need you to do. We need you to know to stop, drop, and roll if ever you catch on fire. We need you to do this if this happens. But we haven't been teaching them what to do in every school. If there's a school shooting, if there's possibly a gun on property, what to do. And when you hear gunshots, what to do? Because running is not you now. You're a moving target. Get low. Cover up your head. We need to teach these things. So, what are the solutions? And I promise you, the more you teach, the more you become knowledgeable about that thing that you fear. Fear will start to dissipate. See, now what happens is that we've taken the fear out of it because I'm knowledgeable about it. So now when you pull that gun, I won't be as fearful in my reaction, in my response, because I'm familiar. You want less fear? You got to be familiar. And that only comes with knowledge. See, I'm familiar with certain energies. From the crack house to the White House, take me anywhere. I'm familiar. I'm not uncomfortable. I don't move in fear. So
How does, yeah, and I want to stay on this for just a second, if you don't mind, because the two ideas that you prompted were people and fear. And we don't have, like you said, it's not a gun problem, it's a people problem.
it's a people problem.
So first off, then the fear. Right?
How many types of people do you know, Dr. Pat? And I say that, and I'm not saying that to you, but I'm just saying in general. How many types of people do you know? When I said you could take me anywhere from the crack house to the White House, I'm not the president, and I don't desire to be the president of the United States. But I've worked with individuals in the White House because of the type of work that I do. I've never been on drugs. I can't even tell you what it's like to be high. But if you think I don't know a person that's on drugs, because that's been throughout my entire community. I remember being a young girl. I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I was still living in my neighborhood that I grew up in, where things started to turn bad. I was coming home from the club. So, I mean, I'm coming in about like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And here, someone I know walking down the street with a vacuum cleaner. And I looked and I said, Terry, what are you doing? He's like, I ain't doing nothing, Marty. I'm on my way home. I said, no, you done broke into possibly your auntie's house up the street and you done stole her vacuum cleaner for you to sell it tomorrow for some drugs. I said, Terry, you are not out here vacuuming grass. I said, well, I'm too tired right now to deal with it. But in the morning, I'm going to call your auntie and ask her, is her vacuum cleaner missing? So I suggest between now and the time I wake up, you go take it back up there to her.
What'd he say?
He just kept walking. And I called his aunt, and needless to say, her vacuum cleaner was missing. I knew what was going on, but he was so fixated on getting what he needed. All in what I figured out and what I knew didn't mean anything to him at that time, but I was wise enough to make him understand, and I was not scared to speak to it. I see you. And I see what you're doing, and I see how you're showing up. You're not just harming yourself, you're harming this neighborhood, and you're harming your aunt. That's the person, the family, the community that I'm talking about.
And to add to that is, if we're making the house analogy, I've been from the farmhouse to the crack house to the White House. So what I see at the farmhouse is this: you can't take away my right. It says it in the Constitution. Well, I think the forefathers who wrote the Constitution were, you got to bear arms. You got to have the right to bear arms because these people across the sea over here was come to kill you. So what do we say as you're a community leader? What do we say for the context? Are we lit? It's again, let's just call it out.
I'm about to say
it's like the Bible. It's like, are you a literalist of the Bible, or in all of that gray area, or is it a lesson type of book? Now, why there's so many there's so many different denominations of Christianity. I'm just using one example. So again, to go back to your point of fear, the farmhouse that I'm talking about, there's so many people that I know that are fearful of this is the first domino that falls. Someone is going to take something else from me that is my right. It's mine.
I got to be
And
able to
I'm
protect
thinking,
myself.
I'm like, hold on. There are school shootings. There's 9/11. I'm not complaining that I have to go through more security for at the airport. I can understand why.
Mhm.
What, and then the people, how do we bring those people together to understand the other person's side? And then because it's a people that need to change their mindset change, how does Dr. Marty bring those two people together to then create a legislative change that is realistic, but both sides understand each other versus just being elected again?
So I'm gonna tell you when I see those types of changes happen. I'm just mention two quick things. I've seen those types of changes happen in terms of legislation when it hits their home. I've seen people who have not spoken up about certain things until it's their nephew, their son, their daughter. And then all of a sudden, that one thing that they never spoke up about, now, I got the power to take the mic and I'm going to say something because it hit my backyard. That's one of the ways that things start to change and the needle moves. I've also seen it where what I believe is going to happen, I'm about to possibly, I don't want to speak anything into existence, but I'm going to really just speak to you from a very authentic place, what I believe is going to happen next. So it hasn't happened yet, but I believe it possibly will happen. Right now, we have all of this one on one shooting in our communities with each other. And I believe that the only way we take the gun off is each other is when we then turn the gun on somebody that's like you just spoke about coming from overseas. The first bomb that drops and hits America, we will no longer be killing each other. We will no longer have a race problem because we all, on that day, that moment, will become Americans and we will be fighting on the same side together to fight for the land. And it's sad that it will take something that extreme for that to happen. But it is also a day of reckoning that I believe will be that moment where we reset as humanity and we will say, that's why that American flag back there behind me, that we remember and we will say, we are one. We are one. See, we find out right now that a bomb just hit, just like we did when the Twin Towers went down with their, oh, that day. Tell me a racist story that happened that day. Tell me.
Zero,
Huh?
zero, zero.
There was none. We don't even have one to tell, not on that day, because on that day it became a threat to all of us at the same time. We
Yep.
all was American. On that day, I forgot that President Bush was even Republican. I was rooting for him, like, come on, get him, Bush. I forgot I didn't even vote for him. Because he was my president at that time that had taken a vow to protect me and my family on this soil. And that's when it'll change. That's when history will rewrite itself. It's sad. It's going to be that extreme, but that's where it's at. That's where we are right now. Until it becomes a threat for all of us, we will continue to just be sweating the small stuff and pointing the finger at each other, finding the differences versus embracing the differences. I look at you, Dr. Pat, and I see a white man. I look at myself, I see a black woman. But when I'm talking to you, I see a friend. I see a brother from another mother. I see somebody that believes in the things that I believe in. I see somebody who wants what I want. I see somebody who may have started off here on the left and I came in from the right, but we met in the middle. That's what I see.
You're choking me up because as much as this conversation is, as much as we want to push it away, I remember when President Bush went to Yankee Stadium with a bulletproof vest, and his wife says, "Do not go out there. They will shoot you. Somebody's going to shoot you." And he went out there anyway, and he threw a strike. And The stadium erupted at Yankee Stadium. And I'm not saying left, right, middle. I don't care. But guess what? 9/11, we remember. But guess what? 2001, that was 25 years ago. How great is the divide now? Does history repeat itself, Dr. Marty? I mean, they're talking about Civil War. In a short 25 years, that's all it took to make it exponentially worse, actually exponentially more divided. What can we take from your teachings and what you're doing with that you were chosen? And I think I was chosen too for certain things. And that's why you are my sister from another mister. What are we taking from Dr. Marty's teachings that we can put in everyday lives to bridge that divide?
If there's anything that I can offer today to everyone, I want you to expand upon seeing yourself and your family the same way any Hispanic mother and father would see their family, the same way any Asian mother and father would see their family. Whoever you are, if you can just do a side by side, take a piece of paper and write down yourself and your significant other and your children. And then I want you to choose a family that don't look anything like you. They could be on your street, they could be somebody that you know you watch on TV, whoever. And I want you to just simply answer the question for both sides of that paper. Who wants safety? Who wants success? Who wants to live? Who wants to give back? Who wants love? Now, if only one side of your paper says yes and the other side doesn't, then I will say we have a problem that we're not going to fix in this lifetime. If both sides of your paper equally says yes, then we have a problem we can fix today. Because we both, no matter who we are, no matter how much we know about each other, no matter what we look like, we all want the same things. And how do we get the same things? See, that was the problem. So I gave you the problem. Now, what did I tell you? I'm big on solutions. How do we get the same things, Dr. Marty? We have to be willing to do one thing, just one thing. Share. Got to be willing to share.
How do you define sharing?
Sharing is actually moving goods and resources around to where everybody has an opportunity to get some. You may have a lot of cars in your driveway, Dr. Pat. Let's say you and your wife is I don't know anything about you regarding this, so I'm just making this up to those who are listening. Let's say, Dr. Pat,
I drive a Bronco because it's over 6,000 pounds for the tax deduction. And if anybody's hearing that and they want to know that, yes, I allowed the IRS to pay for it with the tax strategy. So that's what I drive.
Okay, well, thank you. But let's say you have at least 5 cars in your driveway and it's just you and your wife. How many cars can you all drive at one time? Just 2. If she got one and you don't, but so you got 3 left. Let's say your neighbor has just 1 car and their car broke down. I would like to think that you may be willing to loan your neighbor one of your cars. Sharing is moving the goods and the resources around so everybody get a chance to have some. That's simply sharing. Think about at the Thanksgiving dinner where it's 30 of you all at the table, all this food stretched out. Here's the mashed potatoes. Get you some. Pass it. Pass the bowl. Mashed potatoes may be your favorite dish. And it's like, well, wait, I want to hold on to because I want more. It'll come back around. But right now, get your scoop. Pass. We have to be willing to share. And that's what I created. That's what's working. That's how I'm changing the mindset of a community that only operates out of scarcity, that only operates out of, is it going to be enough for me when I come again next week? That operates out of, I never get any. I never had this. That's how. Because I am taking in goods and resources from all over. I'm saying, give me what you have an abundance of, access of, and so I can 100% turn around and give it right back out to a community that has none. And when I'm sharing with this community, now they've gone from the fear of not having to receiving, and now they're no longer thinking about, I need to kill, steal, and destroy to get it. See, when you gave me those extra clothes that I was able to give to them over here, now they don't have to rob you next week. That's how.
What? Because because that's the next place I want to go, because that's another chosen vocation that you have. Before that, I think the question that sticks out in my mind, because I hear it often, is people are isolated because of technology. And this is the notes I wrote. They don't know their neighbor. Number two. Number three is they're not working as hard as me. Because you know why? I use the Ted Lasso saying, they're be curious, not judgmental. They're not curious. They will prejudge. Why would I share with someone when I work harder than they do? And until that happens, before we start not isolating, it's one thing that technology is really good, but it's going to isolate us. And we're going to see all of the research that comes out, like you just said, like a leading economic indicator. I don't know this, like you said. What I think is the mental bandwidth and the mental health problems that are going to be coming and permeating, that are going to drive down some of the economy, because people are just hurt. They're hurt because they're isolated. We're meant to human connect, personally grow, and contribute to society. How can we do that if we're all isolated? Then how can we do that if we think the other person at work is hard, but we didn't see them leaving at 1 o'clock in the morning to go take that third job? Because we weren't curious, we're judgmental. What are we doing there, Dr. Marty, to change that narrative? What can we do to bring that in so we actually have a place to congregate and actually have these discussions?
You got to get to know people. You have to be intentional about that, to get to know them, to build that relationship. You and I have been communicating on a text message thread for over a week before I realized this communication seems like it's not connecting. Let me call. We have to be intentional about going to the next step when we feel like we're not plugged in to one another. That's the reason that I went ahead and I created Ungun Institute and made it an actual business. I've been doing the work for years. But I made it a business when the pandemic hit and I realized we were isolated. I said, oh, wow, they need this now more than ever. And I heard Spirit say, do it now. Do it now. Put the tools and techniques in their hands so that they will have what they need, so that they don't completely disconnect. See, unplugging is a good thing. Disconnecting, oh, that's not good at all. See, when you disconnect, that means there's no power coming in from any source. Any source. But when you unplug, that means just in this moment, I don't want to have any action happening from this particular source. I may need to unplug to take a break. It's okay to unplug from friends, unplug from social media, unplug from the television and anything that may be influencing you in a way that you need to cut that off for a moment, but never disconnect. Never disconnect. And so when I realized that there were issues happening all around me in community, I knew then I need to plug into them. I need to be boots on the ground. I need to show up and talk to them every single day. Let me see what's going on in your life. I had a man just last week. We had brand new suits that were donated to us, and we gave out these suits a few days right before Easter. This one gentleman came and got a suit, and then the very next day he came down in the suit to show me what he looked like in it. Now, this is the thing that just really just made my heart smile. He said, I had to get dressed to come down and show you this because I haven't had a suit. I haven't had on a suit or owned a suit in over 40 years.
Get out of here.
And I want to thank you because I can now go to church.
Oh, wow. You had to frame that.
That's connection. See, it was more than Dr. Marty made a way to give a man some clothes. No, no, no. I need you to hear all of that. God made a way for this man to come back to him. Because the enemy was fooling him to think because he didn't have a certain look or was able to get past, I'm not dressed appropriately for church, that I probably can't go. Man, that's the trick of the enemy. Because church says, come as you are. But in his mind, that mindset, because I guarantee you, because the way he's wired, the moment he fell off and was started battling with things in life or whatever that may be, I don't know him enough to say what it was, but let's say it's drinking, let's say it's drugs, let's say whatever it is that he did that he couldn't forgive himself for. In that moment, he took a suit off. And maybe he took a suit off because maybe he had to go do some time in jail. I don't know. But whenever that moment was, that suit represents his success. That suit represented the moment he was at his best. And he ain't been at his best in 40 years. So when he put that suit on the other week, he remembered who he was. See, we can never forget. Don't ever forget who you are, whose you are, and why you are. As long as you can answer those three things on any given day, somebody say, hey, tell me how many fingers I'm holding up. I care less how many fingers you holding up. I don't care if you can see. I don't even care if you can hear. I want to know, do you remember who you are, whose you are, and why you are? Tell me that. Because as long as you can answer those things, then I know I'm working with somebody that you're going to be all right. Because I lost my hearing in my left ear due to hearing. I still can sing. I lost my hearing due to the trauma of what happened with my brother in that neighborhood that day. And I have not been able to hear not one thing coming from this left side. But when I lost the hearing, when I lost it in my ear, I was able to hear God spiritually in my entire body. All my gifts started flooding and overtaking me. He had to shut down the natural in order to open up my spiritual. So don't ever get caught up on how many fingers am I holding up? Do you see what I'm saying? That don't mean a thing. I want to know, Dr. Pat, who are you? Whose are you? Why are you? If I can keep you on that track, you're going to be all right. So when that man put that suit back on, that was his cape. That was his Superman cape. He felt his powers coming back. And that's why we do what we do. That's the why. That's the why. How can I?
That's something. And it's one thing to be a pattern recognizer like you are. It's another thing to be a pattern utilizer like you are. It's a whole other thing to be a pattern creator. So that next iteration of you created something. So besides Ungun, what did you create to allow that to happen?
I think
to create those resources?
yeah.
Because I know that that's what you've created.
So the Ungun free store, it's a free store. And so that free store, and when people ask me all the time, well, why is it free? You don't want to pay a little something for it? Nope. They've already paid for it.
Yeah.
They paid for it with the lack. It's already paid for. We owe them because there should be no sister or brother, no, another human walking this earth that, as you spoke about it in the beginning of this segment, to be able to have food, clothes, and shelter, that's the bare minimum of living. So we have an abundance of all three of those things. They already paid for it with their life. They're dying a slow death. And we're watching them bleed out in front of us. So the best I can do, if taking you to the hospital can't help you, if taking you to jail can't fix you, I want to take you to the free store. And I want to be able to give you what you need so that when you put that suit on and it didn't cost you anything, you started to gain your life back. That's the least I can do.
So what does that look like? So they come in, do you actually have a store where they can pick out suits? Do people register? How do you and I as community leaders
I'm going to say this.
make this more known? Make this more known, because I'm about to explode through this computer.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. This is the Ungun Free Store has been created and built through my company, Ungun Institute LLC. For me to share that, now what I'm doing is giving my business away. But if anyone is listening and interested in that being a resource in your city, in your community, I'm going to ask them to get in contact with me. And we will partner, and I will come in and I will help to establish and set this up in your community so that those things can happen. If there's a community that is lacking, I just had someone contact me yesterday and they're like, we're ready for you. We're ready for you to come inside of our community and build this out. That's what we do. And we are turning things around. These same individuals, see, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. These people know my car. They know me by name. They know me by face. When they see me pull up, it's almost like they feel like it's Christmas and they're seeing Santa Claus, because for them, it's almost like, gosh, Dr. Marty loves us enough. She didn't forget about us. She's showing up to be a blessing to us. And what do we do to give back to her? They give it back to me with the level of respect and honor. And because of that, as they practice that, that respect and honor now is becoming a part of who they are, which is now changing that inner. This is me helping them to work out the inner. See, I can take you to the gym and I can, well, let me say it the opposite way. You could take me to the gym.
Get out of here.
You can take me to the gym and you can tell me, okay, get on this elliptical and do this for however long. Now we're going to put you on the treadmill. Now I want you on the bike, all of these different things. And before you know it, I'm shedding weight. I'm toning up. I'm looking good, look a little taller, seeing my neck, all of that stuff, right? That's you teach me how to what? Work out. But what I do at Ungun Institute, I teach you how to work in. This is an inner workout that you can only get at my gym. You can only get it at my gym.
And this is why we're talking, because because a lot of these communities, Dr. Marty, that you can influence are not just in the St. Louis area that's going to see your car. Right. How does the community down in Texas? How does the community up here? How does the community, and because we got Zoom, we have Zoom.
I can be hired anywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
And do this and give you the keys and the steps of how to make this happen and it be successful. Because don't think it's easy. Don't hear what I just said and think, oh, well, I can do that and anybody can do that. No, there's some really key things that you need to know, because you got to know who you're serving and how to serve them. You have to know that when they are in a setting, even in the line with each other, they line up 1 hour before my doors open for them to come and receive the goods. So the whole point, when they're in line with each other, you have to even know some of the things that need to be taking place and what to establish the rules and the regulations so that their trauma don't meet each other's trauma and that becomes some drama outside.
Yes. You have the best one-liners I've heard maybe ever. I've taken about 7 of them just in the past 24 hours. So how does somebody first of all hire you for the consulting? Like again, I can, I've had the pleasure to take another step in my career to affect tens of thousands of professionals in North America, both Canada and the US. How do communities get a hold of you for your expertise? Because you're in abundance. You're in abundance of energy. So, but you're also in abundance of intellectual capital and thought leadership. So, with that said, you're right. That trauma and that trauma could create drama, which it's not funny. It's memorable, is what I should say. How do they get a hold of you? Do they go to your website? Do they
Absolutely.
do they
Absolutely.
email you? What do they do?
Yeah, so they can do all of the above. I'm out there for it's seriously out there. If you start with just Googling Marty K. Casey or
Marty
Dr.
K. That's the thing.
Marty
Marty
K.
K.
Marty K. Casey or Dr. Marty K. Casey. That's always a good way you'll find everything. You can also reach out to me directly at 314-518-5508, or you can email me directly at dr.mkcglobal@gmail.com. So that's dr.mkcglobal@gmail.com. Those are the basic ways of reaching out to me.
And what we'll do is we'll ensure that
yeah,
anybody that sees it has all of the links, all of the numbers.
all the
So
ways.
when they
Yeah.
see that everybody's right here, I'm already writing it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
And
So
it's so easy. And I give direct access to me in that regard. And then from there, I will send you over to my assistant or a team member, and then depending upon what it is you're looking for, and then they can help you with the next steps. But the bottom line is that's one of the keys that I just gave you. That's one of the answers. Direct access. We are to the point in a place that we believe that because we are who we are, right? Who don't ever forget who you are, whose you are, and why you are. We get caught up in who we think we are, that we don't allow access to anybody to be able to reach out to us. Who are you that you're so big that you can't? If God still gives us access to his son, come on now. We should have access to you. Come on. Can I? Okay. Because I can call up God's son from any chapter in the Bible at any given time. I can call any of them numbers, any of them verses, and I'm going to have access. So why is it I can't reach you when I need something?
you can reach me anytime.
When I say, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
We have gotten so big in our minds, believing that we are bigger than the problem. And we bring, you know what I'm saying? To where we are, no, you can't reach out to me. I gave you my personal number. I gave you a personal email. Now it may take a little minute for me to get back to you on some of those things because I am a very busy person, as we all are. But on the same token, I am accessible and I am available and I'm willing to come and show you how to turn a community around. You're not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for the community. And when your community is better, then so is the world that we live in together will be better.
And I'll go one step further. With technology now, it is an impossibility not to connect. It's an impossibility.
That's
Right.
right.
So, and if you don't know, you can learn it, and it's right there.
It's
So
right there.
as we kind of winding this down, because you
Sure.
and I could talk to you, or I could ask for your advice basically, and be ministered to for about 5 straight hours. And thank you so much for this. This is you're a special woman, and and
Thank
and I as I put your age down, and I'm 45, we're a decade away. I can't wait for the next 50 years with you and me. We're gonna do some great stuff together. I already know. I already know. I just know it. You know that pull? Tony Robbins calls about that pull
yeah.
motivation. I just hear that God in me. Like you don't even have to push. It's just as long as you're open to it. This is what we have these conversations. So
By the spirit, by the spirit.
that you have here. See, how many one-liners are you gonna give? We gotta do a Dr. Marty a one pager just to have all yours there. One thought that I would love for you to share It's the inverse thinking. We always talk about what to do, right? But a lot of times we don't talk about what the opposite side would be. So one of my favorite questions, depending on that, would be what pattern keeps showing up for healing that most people miss?
Accountability. Until you can recognize how and why you show up the way that you do, taking accountability for it, you cannot heal what you're not willing to feel and deal with. You just can't.
Mm. What do you advise someone who knows something's going on, but they just don't know where to go? So they just further isolate and shut down.
So I'm going to repeat what I just said. If you feel it and you're willing to take that accountability to deal with it, then now you're ready to heal it. It will not happen until you recognize that you just spoke about the pull, right? But you spoke about it in a positive way. Well, that same, there's a pull inside of you when there's something negative that's going on. When you're
Yeah.
being triggered, there's a pull, right? And so when you are feeling something, you being triggered by every time you in that room with that one person who did something to you, and your whole energy begins to shift. And because your energy has shifted, now everybody in the family, you done shifted that. You done showed up at the Thanksgiving dinner. And because you still seeing that uncle who had touched you when you were younger, and you're still holding on to the anger, and you're still mad at your mom and your cousins and everybody that knew about it, but nobody did anything about it in that moment. They blamed you, but you still want to be connected to family, so you still show up. But until you're willing to deal with what you are feeling, you'll never heal it. Because the bottom line is, it's not your fault that uncle touched you. That's not your fault. That's him choosing to be a monster, and he's got something he needs to deal with. But because he harmed you, it is not fair to you and your children and all the other relationships that you are attached to, that you keep showing up with anger. I need you to release it and to let it go. And what we call that around here is ungunning. I want to help you put the safety lock on your emotions so that you can heal what you feel. Till you decide to do that, the consequences will always be great. And that's you losing relationships, losing opportunities, losing the chance to win. But if today you choose you, so all I want you to do is say, I'm worth it. I'm worth choosing. I'm worth saving. I'm worth healing. Dr. Marty, I'm ready to deal with what I've been feeling. Call me and I'll help you heal it.
Because there's only one Dr. Marty K out there, right? And I wish there was about, you could just be repeated constantly. What's so powerful about that is even the tonality in your voice gets calmer and more soothing and more matriarchal and more motherly and sisterly. So it sounds to me that when someone experiences your work, they're going to feel something. What do you want them to feel when they experience your work?
Healed. I want them to feel healed. I want them to feel that void and that space that feels like an eternity of darkness. I want them to finally see light. And that is what they will experience. I will help them to walk through that process to feel that. I work with individuals, with families, and communities to disarm trauma.
Well,
We
Dr. Marty, you've brought in so much light in just this short hour. You've inspired me. It tells me how much, you know, the power of wisdom is you do enough to know that there's still more to do. I know this is going to have ripple effects for decades and generations to come. You are one of the brightest lights I've came across in my life. You will continue to be in my life for the rest of as long as I'm breathing, because I know when a force like you is there and put on other platforms or whatever that can be, you will force multiply. And I can't thank you enough. You are a blessing from God. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the Pursuit podcast. And please leave us with a parting thought, because you are ministering to us today.
Mm.
And it's almost being blessed. I'm going to take almost out. We are being blessed by you. What blessing can you give us as we part kind of this day or whenever the audience hears this?
Thank you for asking me. I am going to give you a quote that is one of my favorite quotes, and it is not mine. It is actually Maya Angelou.
I knew I was about to jump out of this chair. I said, "Is it Maya Angelou?" You could tell that you can't. It's bubbling. It's the truth. You know what I mean?
And she lived in St. Louis for quite some
Did
time.
she?
That's
Did
where
she?
that's where I'm from. So in honor of what we've been speaking about here today, I want to leave you with greatness of words of a legacy of a woman who I pray that her words will continue to live on. And I hope one day that some young woman will pull me up. And when you ask them that same thing, and they pull me up in my words. So I give this honor back to her. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. And I leave you with that today, Dr. Pat, because I'm in business to help you feel better.
It doesn't get more succinct and powerful than that. Dr. Marty, you are a blessing. I can't wait to meet you in person next month. Shine a little bit more light on you. And because this is a God wink, as was doing my writing this morning, that is the exact phrase I use. I didn't know it was Dr. Maya Angelou. It's a little bit shorter. I always use, people don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. Now, I didn't know that came from her. I know
Yeah.
it came from somewhere, but that tells me that God is aligned. It's a God wink. And when you look for it and you say yes, this type of synchronicity happens. So God bless you. Thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait to meet you in person. And God bless you, Dr. Marty, and all the work you're doing.
I have a hug and layaway for you. Can't wait to get it out.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Remember, whatever you're pursuing, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just start. Take one action step, have one conversation, and trust that what you need is already within you. This is The Pursuit.